Hey there guys, it's Salis, and today I have the pleasure of announcing to the YouTuberverse, Proteus. I'm bad at this. What is Proteus, you might ask? Proteus is a game currently in beta that I got my hands on at the Eurogamer expo, but the footage I got there wasn't quite up to scratch, so Ed has sent me a copy to do a video on, and that's what we're going to do. So first, let's take a look at the options, shall we? Standard stuff really, full screen, of course, resolution, changing mouse speed, which does actually affect how you look around in the game, and I've got my draw distance to high because I can. So let's take a look about, shall we? Click the island to begin. And unfortunately this bit takes a while. Although I've got to say the music is actually really nice. I will warn you as well, this isn't caused by my computer, this is actually how it works. It's this slow regardless what system you load it on, so this might be something I want to take a look at. It takes a very long time for all this to go away. Come on, fade away. Now that's actually a really nice animation you get there when you first come in, and you always spawn in the ocean. And your goal is to make it to this island. Not exactly a very difficult goal, but it's a goal nonetheless. So let's just take a leisurely swim. As you can see, Proteus actually uses a first-person perspective. And the whole idea of the game, is exploration. You get these randomly generated islands. It's a different island every time you spawn in. And the whole idea is you explore the island. It's like wonderful 8-bit style island. You got to find out like what's on it. And I think the music changes every time as well, but I haven't actually played that much. Every so often you'll come across like a creature like this. I think it's supposed to be a bunny, but in this colour it looks more like a frog, so I'm going to call it a frog. So we're going to follow the frog and see where he takes us. Okay, still following the frog. And we found another frog. Oh, and a rabbit. Right, we follow the frog or the rabbit. We're following the rabbit because frogs have only led me to the shore. Let's see what happens if we follow the bunny. How awesome are the sound effects in this game, by the way? They're so fitting. I mean, you've got this like 8-bit art style, and it's got a psychedelic, trippy music, and then like chip beats for the sound effects, which is actually really, really effective. However, as you've probably already guessed, aside from actually exploring the island, there isn't that much to do in Proteus in its current build. I mean, like I said, this is a beta, so I don't know what's coming in future. But in its current state, this is all there is. And it's kind of hard to talk about something like this because there was like one guy at the expo showing this off, and he was kind of like, "This is my like project I've been working on for ages. It's a labour of love," and you really don't want to discourage people who've been working on something for so long. And apparently the rabbit drowned, so I killed the rabbit. Oh well. I killed it by chasing it into water. That's about all you can do. There's absolutely no interactivity in this game. All you can do is have a wander around the island, and to be fair, the islands are quite large once you get onto them. They look really small from the ocean. And as you can see, I've just encountered some fireflies. These tend to spawn around the wooded areas of the game. And they talk to you as well in this kind of like weird bloopy noise, kind of reminiscent of the sound that you make in Journey when you try to tell someone, look at this, I found something cool. And in a way, it's a lot like Journey. There's, like... Well, apart from that, you never see your character. There's a lot of walking involved. There's no jump. In fact, I think space actually works like a brake in this game and stops you dead. So you can have a look. But here we are. We've now officially climbed to the highest point on the island. And with my draw distance up this high, you can actually see quite far. And the trees are rustling. The trees are singing. The birds are swaying. We're all happy. It does have a day-night cycle. Although nothing really happens at night, apart from the fact the fireflies are really easy to spot. And to be fair, they do make for some very, very impressive visuals. However, I have to criticise this as a game, so I'm going to do exactly that. As a game, there's not really this much there at the moment. And when I spoke to Ed at the expo, he did say that this game was nearly finished. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I buy a video game, I expect it to have, like, an element of interactivity, but all you can do is really walk around. I mean, if this is all the game is, then I'm probably not going to be that in... Oh, is that an owl? Sorry, I got distracted by an owl. I probably wouldn't be that interested in, like, buying something like this. I mean, I can see this being the kind of thing you'd play if, for example, you'd just come back from a nightclub, you were still pretty psyched and you were pretty drunk, and you just wanted something to chill out with. This is exactly that, because I know this video is called Proteus, I'm bad at this, but I have been assured there is no way to be bad at this game. Which I take as a personal challenge. I mean, for what it is, it's actually really beautiful. And there's no real set story, so it kind of sets itself apart from, like, Dear Esther in that way. But you do get kind of a Dear Esther feel for it when all you can do really is walk and experience the world. I mean, here we are, perfect example. Nighttime fireflies are really, really pretty. In the daytime, not so much. Another thing this game does not do is save. So if you found a really, really interesting island, like it's created a really interesting one for you and you really like it, you can't come back. As soon as you exit the game, you've exited the world. It'd be nice if you could, like, save a particular island and then come back, but I seriously doubt anyone would actually do that, because this is one of those games where you'd play it once, you'd experience the whole island like I'm doing here, in both day and night, and that's a new noise. What made that noise? Oh, well. You'd experience the whole island and then you'd be done. Next island, please. I mean, it's really hard to, like, judge this game, because it's in its current build. I will stress that beta is beta. Anything could happen in the development cycle, so you never know. But in its current build, it's so insubstantial. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really nice to be able to explore something like this, which has obviously taken a lot of time in building, but is it a game? I don't think so. It's a game in the same sense that Dear Esther was a game. Only instead of having the story force-fed to you, you kind of have to make the story up as you go along. And if you're really creative, you could probably do something really cool with it, but without the interactivity there, it's really, really hard to say whether or not it'd be worth putting money down for this. I mean, like I said, this is a very, 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 very basic but very, very beautiful game, and it's very much a beta at the moment. Now, I don't know what's coming up. I don't know what they've got planned. All I know is that this is it in its current state. I mean, if this is all the game is, it's probably not worth a recommendation. However, if they add something in future which gives you, say, a reason to do it, like, I reckon this could be really well pulled off as like a Survivor type thing, where you have to explore the island, find a cottage, and then try and figure out how to move into it, where you will live out the rest of your days after, say, I don't know, a shipwreck, since you spawn in the middle of the ocean. I mean, that could be really interesting. I mean, you're on an island where you've got frogs and rabbits that bounce around at random. You can follow them. Maybe they'll lead you to the right place, maybe they'll lead you to the wrong place. You've got the fireflies which talk to you. I mean, this could be a really well done, like, Survivor game. But at the moment, it's literally just a case of, look what we built, aren't we awesome? And I'd have to say, yeah, you're pretty impressive, but I don't know about awesome, because this to me is not a game. There's no goal. There's no way to keep track of anything. There's no saves. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is pretty impressive for literally a two-man team, and it's their first ever game. But there have been so many other small teams who've made their first ever game, and it's been absolutely amazing. This is a bit lacking for me. I mean, again, I don't know about you guys, but this isn't the kind of thing I would actually lay down money for. It's nice that I have it, and it can make a pretty interesting alternative to a screensaver. But that's about it. But apparently they were right. There is absolutely no way to be bad at this game because I haven't died once. And isn't that just a bit sad? And as you can see, they've gone for the Minecraft representation of weather, where it only rains in a single spot and then the rest of it's all dry. Don't know whether that's accidental or they're deliberately trying to make a Minecraft reference. But, you know, I might as well hang out in the rain, what with me being British. We're used to this. In fact, I'm going to sit on this beach and watch the sunrise because I'm just that cool. At least it stopped raining. Oh, no it hasn't. Change of plan. I mean, the colour scheme is actually really, really well done. I mean, as you can see, the beach changed from, like, a dark, dismal grey to more of a burnt orange at sunrise. So they've definitely got the day and night cycle to look really, really good. And I suppose that's what this game's about, looking good. And it does that really, really well. It does pull off the aesthetic really well. As for everything else, I'm not so sure. I mean, it's nice being able to explore an 8-bit world where you can climb whole mountains without any real effort or anything blocking your way. It's nice to have a game with no invisible walls. But once you get up here, you can pretty much see everything you need to see. I mean, as I've said before, it's really hard to say very much about this game because it's so insubstantial at the moment. But that being said, it is pretty interesting. I mean, I'll let you listen. I'm sure you've heard all the music and the sound effect by now. I mean, that is some serious effort right there. I mean, it's very atmospheric. You do genuinely get sucked into the world, especially when the fireflies start talking to you. It's like the voices in my head, only nicer. But once you get in there, you realise, hold on, there's not anything to do. I mean, it's got some interesting quirks, like when you load up the game the first time, it actually looks like you're opening a human eye, and you have to press and hold escape to close your current session, and it does this. So it looks like you're actually closing a human eye. But the problem with using the one big eye thing, you feel a bit like Leela from Futurama. Namely, a Cyclops. Oh, we're entering the fog. Don't worry, I'm British, I'm used to that too. Bad weather kind of is our thing. I mean, I think the coolest thing I've ever seen in Proteus, because I've played a few different islands to get a feel for the game, and I think the best thing I've ever seen was a giant, like, half-ravaged tree that looked like lightning had struck it and cut it in half, with, like, fireflies dancing around it and, like, 3 or 4 rabbits bouncing around it. But I mean, that's the kind of thing this game would inspire. I mean, because it's all randomly generated, people would probably be posting, look what I found, in a screenshot, like on Reddit or something, but I don't think this is the kind of game you'd sit down and play for hours on end, exploring everything this game has to offer, because it's a lot of repetition. I mean, I'm literally just holding down one button and moving the mouse to move around this island. That, to me, is not interactivity. I mean, interactivity to me would be, I don't know, being able to, say, build a deck chair and sit on the beach, or deliberately move into the house we found a while ago by, like, crowbarring the lock off the door or something like that. And the fact it doesn't save as well means if you find something cool, you kind of have to take the screenshot there, and then you can never come back to the same island, unless by some absolute random chance the island gets randomly generated again. I mean, I think by now I've said everything I can possibly say about Proteus, and you've had a decent look at it at least. So, I'll be honest, I will not recommend this game. I mean, it's nice, but after nice, there's nowhere to go. So unfortunately, this is another game that's probably going to languish in obscurity because of its lack of, well, gameplay. But them's the breaks. So I think it's time to close our eyes and leave. And thank you for watching. This has been definitely one of my more interesting videos because there's been, well, very little I can actually say about it. I mean, it's okay as an art piece, but not as a game. I would not recommend it. If I was you, I'd just see what happens in future. I mean, like I said, this is very much a beta. Please bear with it. It might be awesome afterwards. But this has been my first impressions look at Proteus. So until I see you again, I've been Salis. I've been chasing rabbits and frogs, and I will see you next time.